was going to press it.
It's all right. Maybe the police department can put it. We're almost ready.
That was the start of my day. It didn't get better.
I said we'll just move the police department in. It's the library's day on Wednesdays. It's the police oh yeah, so we waited to get through that.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to get started. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Grant?
Yes.
Dean?
Here.
Mayor Norman?
Here.
Gabby?
Here.
Storbuck?
Here.
Attorney Edmund?
All right, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, a copy of the Open Meetings Act over on the wall, and it's available in pamphlet form at the listed website. Approval of the minutes for the November 26, 2024 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Grant?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Storbuck?
Yes.
Gabby?
Yes.
All right. Reports, Park Cemetery.
Oh, coming home, City of Crawford. Just a couple things tonight. We finished up the first two pits. We asked the council if we could buy some posts to install in there. Half of them broken off in the seam and everything, so we replaced the posts, put up the old fencing that was there, and I believe it came out fairly decent. Community building, the floor got done in there. There was a couple issues that I guess they did walk through.
We did a walkthrough today. Yep. Brent and I walked through with John Warford today. A lot of the overall, what looks like visual bubbles, it's not bubbles, it is sand that they put within the mixture to help with traction, because that type of flooring can be very slippery. Once that was understood, that cleared up quite a bit of what we saw as a visual potential issue. We did walk around and he agreed with us. He probably helped point out a little bit more than what we originally took in as far as just real small, tidy issues. He was going to go ahead and follow up with his subcontracted company with those and get back to us on that. We also talked about getting details from him as far as cleaning, maintenance, and potential availability of any type of, the word just escaped me, warranty. So he'll be reaching out back to us with that here soon, and we should know. But yeah, it went very well. He was very receptive and very grateful.
Okay. So it is almost all put together. If we hop in there tomorrow, it will be ready to go, minus the cleaning. So we'll probably fix everything about that, about getting there and doing the cleanup on it. Other than that, that's good to go. The trees, we have plans on taking some trees out down in the park with the community building, trying to get that up and ready to go for Thursday night. They're gonna have a wrestling match in there Thursday. That kind of interfered with it, and then our tree guy, life happens, his mom's sick, so he's taking care of his mom, so that's going to be put on hold for, well, indefinitely right now. We got approval to get a golf disc sign down in the park. There's a map that says you had a hit and everything on how to play frisbee golf. So just brought up, maybe we could get some signs for the mud pit, the motocross pit, and also for the arena. I found some verbiage, and I hope you guys may use some of the paperwork for it. I think maybe Adam has. So if we just come up with some verbiage, I have quotes on that and everything, and maybe just, okay, yeah, and maybe we can discuss that next council meeting. I want to give a big shout out to Roger Campbell. I've been trying to get dog poop bags for poop stations around town, visitor center here in downtown in the park. He stepped up and spent some money and got us some poop bags for all those guys. And I also want to give a shout out to Scott. Because you guys some PPE, so that we can continue running chainsaws down the park. That's about all I got.
From our park board meeting, a couple things. We have a flagpole that was donated for the community building, and Jerry Lemon's heading that up. We would like to put the flagpole just to the east of the sign, right beside the sidewalk. So that would be put in there, and they'll bring in an auger, drill a hole down in. The flagpole's 30 foot tall. It'll be buried 6 foot deep in concrete there, and everything's been donated. They're working on the lights, the electrical, everything for that flag. So it'll all be donated. We just need council's approval before we go forward with installing that flag. So if need be, we can put that on the agenda for next meeting. Also, the park board had a really productive meeting with the rodeo board together, and we discussed on how to improve the rodeo grounds themselves as far as taking care of and maintaining, mowing, trimming, spraying, everything. Right now, it's all just in conversations, but moving forward, we're trying to help the rodeo improve the overall vision of the rodeo grounds, kill off the weeds, you know, mow it, make it look a lot nicer for future events. So hopefully we can have some more events.
Thank you. Library?
Good evening, everyone.
I apologize. Can we stop for a second? The pool. I apologize. Got notice last night that Buffy has stepped down as chair of the committee. She had selected 5 people, and those names, there's one of those people that's gonna contact the other 4 members, see if they are all still interested, set up a date and time to have a meeting, and then to let them elect their own chair for that position. And if we need spots to be filled or whatnot because people aren't actually interested, then we'll move forward at that pace, but we're kind of back to ground zero on that and start from square one. So just want to give everybody an update on that she has stepped down. So she's got too much on her plate with school going on and being out of state and whatnot, so it's just not a good fit right now. Sorry.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. The library saw a interesting month in November. We had some programming and stuff, but numbers of patronage were lower than the last few sparkling ones. We had 306 patronages and visits and 21 computer users compared to October's 534 and 49 computer users. I attribute this largely to the fact that there was a lot of holidays going on, a lot of travel, and a lot of competing events that were happening kind of side by side. So otherwise, our circulation's held beautifully. We maintained regular numbers of 239 physical materials and 174 digital ones. So people did not stop reading even if they didn't pop by. And let's see, moving on to events and programming. Since the last time the council was here at the library, we've had 16 events with a total attendance of 199. Upcoming events, our December events are well underway. We have holiday story times each Wednesday before Christmas at 12:30. So I'm really excited about tomorrow's. We should have a very special reader. And then Friday is where our events pick back up. The representative from Senator Ricketts' office, Cassie Nichols, will be in town to talk with any community member who has any questions about federal agencies or issues or how to navigate those. And we've had her here at the library before. She's great. She's very knowledgeable. So if you have questions, definitely come visit her this Friday at 1. And then Friday night carries on our holiday movie night. We'll be playing Santa Claus is Coming to Town, classic stop motion. And then this Saturday is a big special kind of event that comes up maybe twice a year. The Friends of the Library, who support library efforts and have contributed a lot to our library, like updating the children's loft, providing our charging station and that kind of thing. They're doing a membership drive book sale. So the promotion is that if you sign up to become a friend for $5, a supporting member, you get a commemorative tote bag while they last, and you can fill it with as many books as you can carry out of there. Otherwise, all the books and items are 50 cents a piece. So support your library and pop by on Saturday. We'll be open from 1 to 4 for that sale. And then Monday, the following Monday, is a gift wrapping workshop where I'll show you 3 new festive fun ways to handle troublesome shaped presents, some creative ways to make the underside of the tree look really nice. And then finally, we'll have another council meeting on Thursday, December 19th here at the library. I appreciate you guys meeting with us here. Otherwise, library projects that we're working on, the annual public library survey, which is where Nebraska libraries report to the Nebraska Library Commission all of our statistics for the previous fiscal year. This plays into our overall accreditation and keeps us eligible and in good graces with the NLC. It's a good way to keep house too and take count of expenses, accomplishments, and the like. But anyway, we're making great progress with it. We're about 33% done, and it's due in February, so we're probably going to be done early. Elsewhere, winter programming besides December, we're still working on finalizing details for our history talks, the much anticipated history talks. Those were very popular last year, and I am still finalizing the speakers, their order, and the dates that they'll be speaking, but the theme will be Gumbo Pioneers, highlighting homesteading families of the Crawford area and their family histories. So it should be really special. And then lastly, collection development, which is an ongoing process here at the library. The ongoing cycle of materials that come into the library, circulate, and eventually make their way out of the library so that we can keep the collection relevant, useful, and fun for the community that it serves. So with that, there's current areas of development in there that I'm working on, which includes genrefying the children's nonfiction, because I've never had a kindergartner come in here and say, do you have Dewey number 00.1? So to make it more approachable and easier for them to find the things that they're looking for. So that's one area. And then elsewhere, I am looking to distinguish a young adult section separate from the early and junior, like middle grades. And I'm looking to expand our DVD collection. We've got a really nice, great condition pile of donations of DVDs. And since we're a town without a theater, it's a fun feature that we're looking to expand. And then lastly, creating standards and protocols for weeding the collection to make room for the things that our community wants. So unless there's any questions, that's all of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Street.
Tim Schultz. Anyway, street sweeper's fixed. Backhoe needs a 2,000 hour service. It's a $107,000 machine for $4,000 service to check to see what's wrong with it. Nothing at this time. Loader's fixed. Just got a brand new heater in the street shop today. And Christmas lights and trees are up.
Awesome.
Oh, the old flag Dodge tomorrow.
Okay.
Goes in.
Thank you, Tim. Water sewer, Dennis?
So, since we last met, we had a wastewater training in Chadron, and in that training, we've been there multiple times, and instead of seeing the Chadron sewer plant that looks just like ours, we got to tour the Chadron water plant, which was a nice change of scenery. And then following that, I had further training with Edward on the wastewater side of how the training tied in with like our state monthly reports and that kind of stuff. With that training, we learned that our current plant designation is actually a Class 2 plant instead of Class 1 facility, as stated on our current license. With that state designation, state regulations state that we have to have a Class 2 wastewater operator's license with the for the designated operator, which I have, but it also states that we need a Class 1 wastewater assistant operator, which we don't currently have and haven't had for over a year. We had reports of backups on the south side of Ann Street between 2nd and 4th Street. We visually checked the manholes, and the city line was flowing. After the second incident, we had the Harrison crew come out and they jet the line for us. They said there were some tree roots in there, but not enough for an actual blockage. Like Tim stated, we helped hang with the Christmas lights. And then we also attempted to start the generator at the gallery, and we had no power with the battery. So we pulled the battery, charged the battery, and our latest attempt was starting the generator. The starter wouldn't disengage, so we're gonna take that apart and see what we can do there. We're storing the battery inside at the infiltration gallery at the moment, on a pallet connected to the battery tender. And like I said, we'll try and troubleshoot that later here in the week. Currently we're having problems with the gas heaters in the south wells and the galleries. So they're offline right now, and we're running the electric heaters in there. We got a call with the Fire and Ice, they'll come out and check it. We did a little bit of troubleshooting this afternoon. And hopefully it's just some wires got grounded, the thermostat got grounded or something, and it's not a big deal. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, we pulled the effluent manual valve off filter number 1 and replaced it. We pulled the spool piece that's in that line as well, along with the effluent actuator valves for both filter 1 and 2, and the T. So it's a lot of piping, 8 and 10-inch piping in the plant. We took apart, replaced some valves and the T and put back together. And we also adjusted the chlorine, our post-chlorine injection line there as well, along with the emergency chlorine injection system on that. And we also sealed some holes in the floors that went along with the wiring for the sacrificial anodes from the plant. Then a couple weeks ago, we read meters for the month, and we had a glitch in the systems. We had 100+ manual rereads, so that was probably like 2 days worth of extra work. More than normal, I guess. The Clearwell pumps we got, the drive shafts that they sent with them, they are 6 inches too short. And so we got a call into them guys. The rep came out, he verified it, measured it, contacted the company that sent them, and they're like, but we measured those just right. So he's coming back out tomorrow to reconfirm exactly what we know, and are going to make sure that they make it right and get us what we need. So hopefully, you know, by the end of the week we'll have them ordered and have the right stuff midweek till the end of the week next week, and so we can get it all put together, up and running right. We also shut down filter number 1 for trough gasket replacement and adjust the effluent butterfly valve. When we put the valve back in, we think we might have it just slightly misaligned. It's not wanting to open and close correctly. So we're going to have to tweak that a little bit. But due to that, it's causing that filter to back up a little bit. And so we took it offline so that we're not overflowing it and having it flow to the pond and waste a bunch of water. Filter number 2 turbidity meter on the 5th, 6th, and 10th had sediments in the turbidity meter. So we've been having to continually flush that line and clean out that vial to make sure we're getting a good reading on that. If it happens again here regularly, we're just going to shut that system down and flush it really, really good, and then put it back together. But we're having issues with that line.
Is that just blocking those, or is that causing any sort of damage?
It's
just a small amount of sand from the filter. We're not sure if it's from the previous.
Those are pretty sensitive.
If it was from the previous repair.
Residual filter media, we think, in the line, and so we just got to make sure we get it flushed out real good. That's what's going on there. Early last week, we dug up 510 pine and found the 2 4-inch compression couplers leaking, so we ended up tightening those back down, and that's stopped the leaking. We also did the monthly water and wastewater samples midweek last week, and we sent off the monthly state reports for both of those. And then we also did a yearly report for the NRD for water and wastewater usage. And then for the month, we've had 18 locates and 10 shut off turn-ons. And then midweek last week also, we encountered a business knowingly and willfully creating a cross connection with the public water system with absolute disregard to public health and safety and theft of services, a repeat offense, and a state violation. We confiscated the offending equipment, and the state recommended fining said business the cost of a hydrant defender, which looks like this, and time to install as a corrective action for the violation. And we have printed copies of the ordinance listed that's, were several of the violations. The cost of this hydrant offender is about $300. And then upcoming or ongoing events that we see are with that clear well motor, we'd like to get it wired up so that when we do get the right shaft here, we can just slap the shaft in and have it up and running. And then we'll probably run it for like a week to make sure that it's really good to go. And then we'll pull the other two and put those motors back in and get them running as well. When they sent those pumps and motors, for some reason they gave us a motor that's a similar brand but not exactly the same, and so we're gonna send that one back and they're gonna get us what's that?
It's a completely different brand.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's a similar motor, but it's a different brand.
It's
We just want to keep
same
everything the
size
same,
and
so
everything,
no-
but it's not the same brand. That we'd like to have all three of them
Yeah,
exactly the
maintenance
same,
manuals
so that
and
we're not
stuff.
having multiple manuals. And then we want to go back through and troubleshoot the sacrificial anodes on both tanks. There's a lot of corrosion on there that we think our grounding's not exactly right, and so we really need to get our head wrapped around that, I guess, to prevent that corrosion and pitting. And then we'd also like to get those gaskets replaced on the wastegate valves.
As far as the business that was had the offense, is that something that you, with the state, request the fine, or is that something that our attorney has to? Is it something?
I think it's in our ordinances from what I've seen. I don't know that it's fully fledged out in the ordinances, but I think it's somewhat stated in the ordinance, and I think that's kind of up to you guys. But realistically, the state recommended that that's what we should do, is find them the cost of that equipment and put that equipment on there so that there is not further issues.
Good.
Did I miss anything?
I got backflow coming up, backflow training in January.
That's right, yeah. Third week in January?
Second week in January. And then other than that, you know, we're trying as hard as we can to get it all set up. We just need to get the motor wired. Once we get it wired, we can verify the rotation. We do have some lighting issues that we've been running into. The lights are starting to die out on the inside. We also have lights on the outside of the building that need to be replaced. I do have a quote for some LEDs. I know, January at the earliest, we'll bring it up. We are trying to look into lights that are much more efficient and rated for being in a damp environment. Rated for being in a damp environment, so that the lights will hopefully pay for themselves within the next year or two. So we'll get better light, and we might not need nearly as many. But we'll continue to work forward on that, and we'll start sending it to the board for consideration.
Tony and I took a walk. You guys were very thorough in walking us around all the pump stations, everything along that lines. Those heaters, that's probably something that we really need to be on. Obviously.
Yeah.
We went out to the infiltration gallery today. We spent about 45 minutes. We took it all the way apart, all the way down to the nuts and bolts, inspected every single thing. And when we left, it was working. It was working as advertised.
There was several other
heaters. It was shutting
heaters
itself
that you guys
down,
have,
turning
is what I'm
itself
saying.
on.
You guys have a
Yes,
lot of
absolutely.
heater issues that.
We did get the one fixed today in the sewer plant.
Yeah, the screen room fire
They
nights
come
when
out
they did the one
and
in
fix that one.
Yeah,
They said maybe mid next week we should have the second radiant heater in the shop up and running. The chlorine room does have a space heater in it for now, so we are kind of holding tough. I know the weather is on its way to getting cold, so we hope that'll hold out. And then the office, suck it up where it's sort.
Yeah. I know we
have
kind of
quotes for
discussed
the-
some of the parts and pieces, because you guys, there's a lot of things that are just riding a fine line right now, but are you creating a list of top priority items and down?
Yes, we
Would
have,
create a huge list of
we have a
everything.
massive list going of a lot of different parts. I
Even
mean,
when
we-
you have a preliminary list, I think it'd be good to kind of get it out to us where we can start kind of getting an idea what this is gonna be costing. Cause there's, I mean, everything from your guys' air pumps on both facilities, like
Yeah,
running only
compressors.
one side, yeah, your compressors, just on, not being able to have a backup or just, everything's very tight for you guys right now, so I appreciate the work you guys are doing. It's not, there's no way two guys can do all that work, it's too much, but it's good to know where we sit, so. Keep it up.
we keep ourselves.
What's the status of the VFD down in the pit?
The VFD down in the pit currently is on manual, and we have it dialed in to as good as we can get it. We did reach out to
Atlas?
Atlas, we
Automation,
reached out to Atlas, they work with VFDs and all of the animation, or automation and controllers and control boards and computer programs. We did talk with them, we asked them to send us a quote to get them out and maybe spend a day with them going through everything and seeing what we can either update or maybe it's just
Is
They
that
can-
the same company that,
that did
that
our
remotely programs your VFDs at the sewer plant?
They helped us
No.
with our auto dialer.
Yeah, they're doing auto dialer. I would say the company that does it remotely at the sewer plant is the actual company that built this, or, is the manufacturer that package plant. So I don't think that they would really mess with the water stuff.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering is we don't need to just get a data line put down there so that can be.
Possibly, yeah, done remotely.
Yeah.
That's very possible. That's some technology that I'm not real familiar with, but it's definitely, if they can come up and look at that stuff and they can say that they can do that, that might.
The only pitfall to that, we did talk to the Hawk guys about their automated software and programming and monitoring. He kind of warned us against it if we can stay out of it, because you're just gonna have somebody in your hair all the time, every little thing. They're gonna be calling you and calling you and calling you, and I mean, it's nice to have somebody monitoring the system like that, but that's what we're here for.
No, I think it's a good idea to stay as analog as possible because that's one of the big threats out there right now is hacking, water treatment facilities.
Absolutely,
So-
it's on the forefront of all the training that we've been to. It's been at least a half hour of computer security and facility security is another big thing. We will be looking this year into trying to get a grant for updating the security at the water plant and the sewer plant. We might be able to get a few $1,000s to help with maybe installing a couple cameras on the outside of the building. We might even be able to help with some of the lighting and everything like that. The one light that is out on the outside of the building is right above the front door. Really kind of inopportune place to
And
have.
what we need to do is we need to eliminate the time clock and.
I got it working.
We need to eliminate. the
And
time
just leave
clock
them on all the
and
time.
just do a photo eye. That's,
Oh, something that's gonna be a little, then you don't have to worry about adjusting it.
yeah,
Oh, it gives me something to do.
yeah. Bobby had mentioned to us when he was on council that Homeland Security is where to go for grants for,
Okay.
water facilities. For
That's where we
security.
got the grant for the fencing.
Hmm?
Oh, perfect.
That's where we got the grant for the fencing. They're around everything.
So, okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. All right. Number 6, discuss, approve, disapprove. Passage and, passage and adoption of resolution 2024-08 that allows for the collection of delinquent water rental, sewer rental, and use charges to be assessed against the real estate as a special assessment on the following property: 3571 Highway 20.
I'll make a motion to approve passage and adoption of resolution 2024-08.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Debbie,
Abstain.
Strobeck.
Yes.
What property is that?
So, it's the property, can we answer that then?
On Highway 20.
It's along Highway 20. I don't know, are we allowed to specify exactly where?
It's in the resolution.
So,
Say the resolution has the address.
yeah, you can, All right.
It'll be filed. It's the property where, it's across the highway from Wesco. Used to be exotic pets, animals, whatever. It's that property.
all right. Guys. Thank you. Number 7, discuss, approve, disapprove implementing a 4-way stop at intersection of 2nd Street and Pine, and approving estimate and purchase of stop and speed signs from Econo Signs.
I'll make a motion to approve this and ask that, April abstain as it directly correlates to their business down there.
I'll second it.
Gary,
Yes.
Stovall,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Abstain.
Number 8, discuss, approve, disapprove recommendation for a new city council member. We are going to forego that part. We actually are gonna need to, I'll need a motion to approve advertising, as I do not have a person to fill that, so.
I'll make a motion that we, put out advertising, for recommendation or interest in the new city council spot.
Hold on just a second.
Continues till somebody qualifies. That's the question. Yeah, that's the question.
Okay. All right. I'll second.
Yeah.
What position is that for?
It was for the
Amanda.
one left vacant by Amanda.
But which one of you is it for? Tony?
Me. And statutorily, you will continue in that position until somebody's qualified to take the position.
So I guess,
Which I would assume will be the next meeting.
if any of the further discussion on any of these items that we're voting on, if there's heartburn, I would ask the council to ask for my resignation at this time. Otherwise, I'll continue on the council until someone is appointed or my term is up, and
Maybe some further explanation. Tony is, not wanting to continue on the council at this time. He's offered to assist if we need him to, until the seat is filled. But he doesn't feel comfortable voting on things or putting his time in if he's not gonna continue, so it's hard for him. He's kinda asking us for our opinion on whether we should keep him on until we fill the spot or just leave it vacant for now until we run an appropriate advertisement and let Shane go through.
Statutorily, the next meeting, Shane will have to put a name forward, so.
okay,
As long as somebody applied.
thank you, Brent. That's struggling with that.
can I ask if I include him in the vote?
Like Adam has said, he is on as a council member
Statute.
until he's
The
replaced.
statute indicates that you stay in your office until somebody qualifies.
So we all set?
Yep.
Grant,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Stovall.
Yes.
All right. Number 9, discuss, approve, disapprove the Murphy estimate for the 2,000-hour service on the backhoe.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Stroller, Getty.
Yes.
Number 10, discuss, approve, disapprove transportation department providing a Christmas light bus tour on Wednesday, December 18th, beginning at 4:30 p.m.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Stroller,
Yes.
Getty.
Yes.
Number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove SDL at the old Napa building at 135 Main for the tailgate bar and grill for Crawford Livestock Market Christmas party from 3 p.m. on December 20th, 2024 to 1 a.m. on December 21st, 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Getty,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Number 12, discuss, approve, disapprove SDL at the old Napa building at 135 Main for the tailgate bar and grill for the Black birthday party from 1 p.m. on January 18th, 2025 to 1 a.m. on January 19th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Stroller,
Yes.
Getty.
Yes.
Number 13, discuss, approve, disapprove maintenance agreement between NDOT and the city of Crawford for snow removal.
Is there anything anybody wants to discuss about it?
It's pretty
If
standard.
not, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Getty,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Number 14, discuss, approve, disapprove Ponderosa Villa bathhouse repair estimate from Morford's Decorating Center Incorporated and financial assistance from the city.
Does the billboard want to address this issue or from the billboard?
Well,
You have to stand up right now.
People talk.
or maybe Dave could, Stacy's called Crawford Area Fund, Sam Dyer, and she's not responded yet. And they sent a request to Adam Scandall's office for those coffee grants, and is it Sue Dawes Foundation?
It's just the Sioux County Foundation.
But that was the Welling thing,
Yeah. And then there's the
but we haven't got any response yet as far as applying for funds or even when they're due, because I think one of them isn't due till next June. So we don't have any response back yet for the form or a message of when they'll meet next to consider that.
Sioux County Foundation meets, I believe, and this is John's thing, but I believe they meet once a year.
Once a year.
Coffee Foundation sometimes meets quarterly, depending on what kind of request.
Are there forms?
I believe so.
I think Stacy or Faith put a request in, we haven't gotten anything yet.
You call John and talk to him, really,
Okay.
it's his deal.
At this time, we have an estimate of $23,600. That's for the floor and the walls, as we discussed prior. I'm not in any way, shape, or form spending Crawford Area Development Fund money. They have approximately $7,000 left in their fund for specifically allotted for the villa. Like I said, we're waiting to hear back from them if they want to contribute any of that to this project. It's something that has to be done if the villa continues on. You have to have that bathroom. It's a liability at this time. It's only gonna get worse. The contractor, Morford's, has until they think the second or third week is when they think they can get it done, or start working on it, get it done for us, so they have a window of opportunity. Being the uncertainty right now of where the villa stands and also with funding, I would ask that we postpone this till the next meeting on the 19th. It buys us a week anyway where we can maybe get some more information together. But I'd like to hear other opinions on it if anybody has any.
take no action?
I'd ask though that it's something that has to be discussed and we can't wait till January for another
Okay.
follow-up, so I think we need to come to some action on it the next meeting one way or another.
Alright. 15, discuss, approve, disapprove allocation of ARPA funds.
I'll lead off right away with the additional money needed for the bathhouse. It's possible that it could possibly be used to complete the bathhouse, for any money we come up short from any sort of funding or grants of that kind. We could use some of that funding from ARPA for that. We already have, one of the key things on ARPA money, we have to have either engineer reports on bigger projects, we have to have contractor agreements already signed, sealed and delivered, to retain the money that they gave us, or we have to have direct receipts purchasing an item and, putting it to use for city use. So again, a little bit of a delay there, but, the biggest ARPA amount out there right now is the water infiltration gallery, and that's a big one right now. So we put it out, I don't know if everybody knows, but we put it out on our website on Wednesday, I believe, to give first public notice last week, in the paper today and the radio station, trying to get bids in time to be able to get a chance to be able to get a contract signed and get it submitted before the 31st, or we lose all that money for that project. We'd have to find it somewhere else down the road. We can only spend that money now that we know we need receipts, we can buy parts and whatnot, but I don't know how we directly allocate the funds without being kind of liberal in our understanding that we're hoping to get the water infiltration gallery bid contract signed. So if we allocate that now, but it falls through, do we have time to adjust, or do we just have the understanding or put it in our allocation request that we're gonna use it on other projects? Do we have anything else that we have blueprints, engineer reports, write-ups? I don't know, I haven't been in here long enough. Like, do you guys have other ideas on where you'd like to spend the money if that falls through?
Yes.
Is there direct, like, areas where it can only be spent? Does it have to be specific to water,
Water,
sewage?
sewer, broadband infrastructure.
And additional, it's been expanded.
To healthcare, I think,
Yeah.
some parts of
Yeah,
healthcare.
it's been expanded. There's, more areas, so that's why the bathhouse at the bill would qualify, because it's a medical facility. And that was confirmed through basically the JEO engineering expert. That has got most of their contracts approved through using those funds, so. It would not be for probably what you think.
No, I'm just brainstorming.
Yeah, that's what we're asking for input right now, and I'd like the input of the other
Storm
council.
drain on personnel?
If we have,
Is it
Go ahead.
engineered?
is it engineered?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Does that funding, does it include, streets then?
No.
It's not
I thought you did.
It, only if it's potentially tied to, it's an infrastructure one that's tied to water. So if it's something that needs to be water replaced underneath the street, it could potentially be tied in a small amount that way, but it can't be just the street. So there's a small overlap there of potential, but it's not.
What about like the
It's
storm
not
drains
open.
on First and Elm and Third and Elm?
I don't know if that rides the line on the right side or not.
So
Maybe someone could
that-
find out before.
We'll look into that and find out. We do have a street superintendent that's putting together the 1 and 6 year plan.
Okay, so
Some of those things are gonna be on that. So, I mean, we do have a plan.
where can I spend the money? This is the updated parameters. Government services generally include any service traditionally provided by a government. Treasury has,
government unless Treasury has stated otherwise. Here are some common examples, although the list is not exhaustive. Construction of schools and hospitals, road building and maintenance, and other infrastructure, health services, general government administration staff and administrative facilities, environmental remediation, provisions of police, fire, and other public safety services, including purchases of fire trucks and police vehicles. Government services is the most flexible eligible use category under the SLRF program, and funds are subject to streamlined reporting compliance requirements. Recipients should be mindful that certain restrictions, which are detailed further in the restrictions on use section, and apply to all uses. So it's been expanded from just water-based and broadband.
So, just a suggestion, we've always been talking about sealing our streets and the cracks. Maybe it's possible to buy a tar machine and some materials with that, and our own people can do that. Those, you need a good air compressor and stuff to blow those out, and tar those and seal those streets that we've been after for the last at least 15 years that have been pushed back. You can kick down the street.
I know in the past we talked about the clinic needing to be updated as far as like wiring and water. Could that possibly fit into that where it's a health clinic?
It could, but it would go outside the amount of money that we will have allowed, because the wastewater or the water infiltration gallery, right now we're at 21,000, I think, roughly, for just the engineering, the bid process, and the fees that they charge us to just get that going. And then the rest of the infiltration gallery is estimated, and this is a rough estimate by JEO. They have no idea yet because they haven't got a single bid in, but 100,000 for that. We're somewhere in the area of 155,000. Is that what we have?
We have $165,000 in the bank account, including the interest that money has drawn since we've had it.
So it's not leaving too much, but then, I mean, we don't know. It could be more or less once we get that first bid in, or one of those bids in.
In hindsight, where are you at on construction and replacement of these drains that are bad? Where's this all at?
Ask like 5
So,
minutes ago if we have
so
droughts.
like I said, we got that getting drawn up on the 1 and 6, those we discussed last year, and they're staying on.
Do you have bids on those jobs yet?
No.
Just the former ones, but not new ones. I mean, it's been a long enough time, they probably need to be rebid, but we had to put all that on hold when we were restrained with funds, so now that we know where we're at and we're better off, we can reconsider for those drains.
When Dan was still here, I believe it was in July, he reached out to Jay Suker and Danielson and asked for updated estimates on that, and neither one responded to me.
I think you had one from Scotts Bluff too, didn't you? That was doing some work in Hemingford?
I think he was hoping to get something back, but I don't know if he did. He said he was calling out, but I don't know if he ever did get something back.
I think he did.
You can follow up with that.
I think you did, if you guys look into it.
Sure.
I think you did.
Sure.
And I think he was $6,000 cheaper than anybody else.
A project, from what I understand from JEO, any project where it's gonna involve construction, basically something like that, where it may have to be engineered, we have to have that engineer report and done. If it's something along what you guys are talking about, just a contract, then if we have, as long as we have it signed and submitted, but that's to say we have, what, 2 weeks of actual business days left to get all this done.
Was there an engineering report done?
On the storm drains?
Small project.
That I know of,
I
it
thought
wasn't
that
unnecessary.
was the reasoning for 2 bids, multiple bids, because one was unengineered and the other one was engineered.
Had nothing to do with the engineer, because it wasn't a big enough project to require engineering. We got 2 bids because we have 2 local construction guys that's their business.
I just wondered, because that's projects that seem to be pushed and pushed and pushed, and it's like, well, it's too late now, so let's start next spring, and now we're talking new bids and all that. It's just frustrating for the public to see this and not shit happening. It's just frustrating.
So what we're doing right now, we are, you know, JAO's supposed to get back to us on what, the 20th? With bids end on the 20th. They'll reach out to us with who their recommendation is. We'll have to get together and approve or disapprove who they select, and then we get that put in, and hopefully everything's gonna be go from there. And we'll try to piggyback things that are necessary and whatnot also.
So if they get back to us on the 20th, which is a Friday, we basically have 4 business days left, excluding Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, to be able to get the paperwork submitted before the 31st, which would be the 5th day. So that's where we can wait till the 19th to decide all this, but we are pushing the line so close right now as it is that I think we need to have it. We can't talk, like us 4 cannot talk unless we're in an environment like that, or in this. So this is what makes it so difficult, is to get on the same page. We have the opportunity now to try and discuss this, how we're gonna allocate this money, and what if we don't get a bid? Or what if it's so far outside the realm of what we thought it was gonna cost that we can't afford it? We have to have some sort of contingency instead of continuing to wait to the last second and then stuff falls through and we're here, like, with frustrated citizens of the town, and we can't do anything. We have the opportunity to decide this and discuss it right now, but nobody wants to talk.
I mean, there's for sure the water infrastructure, the gallery. I mean, we can see what a tar machine costs, as was suggested, if that's what we wanna do. Go that route, look into it.
And that's like, we have to confirm with ARPA that we can buy equipment for a project like that, you know, we have to make sure that that would clear. We know that if we buy parts for water, sewer, then that clears. That's just a no-brainer. We can buy that stuff right now and have it sitting there until the guys can get to it. We always have that as a fallback. I mean, that's just, we need water.
We are working on a list currently. I will have several emails sent out tomorrow with a list of bids. I can do the best I can to try and get what we need.
I mean, and that's where I'm open to the suggestions of the public. I mean, you're bringing up good points, but it's the time crunch now. You see the amount of business.
So you knew about this, those questions should have been asked 2 weeks ago. Can we buy machinery? Can we buy equipment? I mean, that's the kind of stuff.
Well, I found out 2 weeks ago
gosh.
the deadline, and I can tell you, we have sat, Tony and I, for hours on end in my house and calling everybody under the sun and trying to figure out ways to get this taken care of. These 2 have done their part as well.
Are you sure about that?
Huh?
Are you sure about that? Because you're not alluding to that.
You started it back in July, you said,
We did,
right?
and we submitted everything.
Okay.
So
And?
I still don't understand the problem here.
Is there
Because
a
we
way-
did submit everything to the engineers.
But we didn't let them know that it was for ARPA funds and there was a deadline.
We did.
Well, that's not what they say. Jack will tell you to your face that that's not what has happened. He said it on the phone when Chris and I talked to him. He did not know that it was ARPA funds and that there was a deadline on it. And Chris will vouch for what the man said.
That's fine, that's fine, but I can't say that that's anything I could have done.
Okay, but even on that fact, like, we should have called them 2 months ago to see where they're at. We should have continued to follow up. Up until 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden, December 31st came out of nowhere. And this is where we're at. And so I'm not trying to argue with you what went wrong back then. I'm trying to correct the issue right now because we are out of time.
Scott.
Is there any way we can contact the ARPA people and request an extension?
Nope.
That's Department of Treasury.
They've had this money for how long? How long have we had this money?
21, I think.
Huh?
I think it says 21.
talk
Okay, so
about it.
will you be finding out if you can buy equipment and stuff
So we will
tomorrow? Will you find that
we
stuff out?
can definitely
Yeah.
get right on all of that.
Okay,
I mean,
well, I mean,
time
I'm
crunch,
saying if you're
we'll-
jumping on the horse,
Right.
get on the son of a
Right.
gun and kick the hell out.
we will do that.
Well,
Well,
another suggestion would be that,
I know.
we already bought, a vac trailer,
We did do
and
that.
we have the receipt in the file cabinet in Jeannie's office. We could submit that $40,000.
For money that we already spent.
But it was spent in the time period that you kept the money.
Huh?
It was spent in the time.
But
period
I'm
you
saying
kept the
that
funds.
we've already paid for, it, right? The money's already gone out of that?
But it
But
could
it's better than
reimburse
losing
us.
it.
Yeah.
But it would just
We
reimburse
have
us.
plenty of
It's
places that we could
just
spend
a
it.
simple
Reimburse us
transfer.
for our own,
It's-
for the money we've already spent, so it's not wasted. You're still getting to spend the money on what it needs to be spent on.
And we
That was
get our,
something that we discussed also back in June and July when we set this off.
and we put our $40,000 back into the sewer fund or wherever that came out of. We just transfer it from the ARPA account back into the sewer fund
So that's
and turn in the receipt.
the thing we can attach also.
I could also go back through, files in the clerk's office of crap that we approved to come out of the ARPA funds a year ago that the clerk at that time
So,
didn't remove it out of the account.
So
And I'm
somewhat
talking
calling wolf
probably
here.
30,
we're to a
30,000?
point calling somewhat wolf here, cause you do have money to use on that, receipts,
we do have some
There's
receipts,
some
yes,
receipts.
no?
yes.
You can look at it a couple different, you can look at it one way, but that money's gone.
Oh,
That
I
money's already
agree.
spent.
Alright.
We have the
Sure
opportunity here,
can.
another $155,000 to do something with it. That money's already gone.
I agree, I'm done.
But then again, so somebody has time to go through and find the receipts for all that. and
I mean, honestly, we can put together, from what I understand, you can, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeannie, but we can submit multiple things, but it doesn't have to technically be spent on everything submitted.
Yeah, because you can create multiple projects,
Correct.
fall within the guidelines.
we won't have 40 grand left over.
No, what I'm saying is we can put together a portfolio and then decide what things we really wanna use it on and not, is more what I'm saying,
For what's already spent compared to what we have upcoming, we can.
I
right?
already have a file of copies that I made, and Jean, didn't you help me find a lot of that stuff? I have
I'm hoping
copies
you
of the
still have that.
receipts that we approved, and Amanda was still on the council when we
Right.
approved a lot of that stuff. So, I've already done all of that.
It's already been.
The only receipt that I don't have is the one for the back trailer. But
So-
I'm sure you have that in your files.
So as far as a portfolio goes, I mean, we will look at new projects, we'll get on the phone, we'll look at what we can do as far as storm sewers, you know, all that kind of stuff. I like the idea for the tar machine, I mean, we do have issues with the streets, as everyone knows, so I mean, I have no problem, we'll get on that and try to find out our answers and do what we can.
Did you say the bathhouse would qualify for that?
Yeah, we can add that in there also.
We already have a bid, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that's
It's,
Yeah.
a
it's all
no-brainer.
there, it's all usable towards
Right.
that money.
Okay.
So,
It is in consideration for that, those funding, but if there's any money that's used somewhere else.
so the more that we include, then we can be picky from there. But we'll do it broad and be picky from there, so, is how I understand it,
But it's
correct me
just-
if I'm wrong.
The time crunch right now is,
Right.
Right. You don't have time to wait till the 19th.
well,
It makes
You
y'all
got
feel
them,
better.
they have that bid on the 20th.
It makes y'all feel better, Dawes County Commissioners talk about this for an hour today, and they got about 150 grand to spend too. And they're
So,
going to
what a
bid.
problem.
They're not at bid.
We'll take it.
Everybody's.
So,
I-
here's the thing, if we, I believe we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 30,000 seats and stuff that we, voted on well over a year ago. We've got the vac trailer, that is for specifically for the water and sewer system. So that would qualify. The bathhouse, so we're roughly somewhere around 100,000 right now. And if Edward and Dennis could have a comprehensive list of stuff that you're gonna need, we don't know if we're gonna buy any of it or all of it or what, but stuff that you can order before the end of the year. Should we give approval, we'll be able to spend that money. And money that we've already spent comes out of the ARPA account back into our water and sewer funds. And it's more money that we can spend on water and sewer.
About all the big pumps that we just.
Yeah. Yeah, we could even go back with all the water pumps and crap that we just bought. There's $14,000
worth of water pumps sitting on the floor in my shop right now.
There's a warrant in this stack right now for $14,000 worth of water pumps. I mean, we've got,
I think we got 3 of those.
okay, so see,
I could be wrong, but I think that's what those are. Right.
see, there it is. It's already been spent. We just,
What's JEO guessing on the bids coming in at?
110 max is what he said. He said somewhere between 90 and 110.
So,
And so that's another thing on the JEO stuff. Any local contractors that wanna bid on it need to, I mean, we're advertising where?
We got a clipper, on our actual site, and I think there was one more place. Yeah,
Shattered, and then JEO reaches out
Yeah, JEO.
directly to most contractors in the Scottsbluff area, because they have a direct link to share all that information with them directly. They do just an information dump to all of the ones that are normally a part of their chain.
So, Raylene,
Yes.
there will be concrete involved with this project, so if you speak to Jay, have him look, get a hold of the plans and see if he wants to, bid on it. And
He'll
it
be
need,
home tomorrow.
okay. And, anybody
Is
knows?
that on the storm sewer? For me, no.
No, this is get infiltration gallery.
Oh, okay.
And if anybody runs into, Danielson, let him know. We would like to spend money locally, but, you know, we don't have a whole lot of time here, so if they're interested, let's
Well, I think he will,
get after it.
but I can't speak for them.
alright. Anything else? Alright, we'll move on. Number 16, discuss, approve, disapprove updated information regarding the American Cell Tower contract and moving forward with contract negotiations.
In light of, information that I found out recently, I'd like to, table this till the 19th.
What's the information I think it is? Since we don't ever get to talk.
It's just more research. There's been new information rise and I can tell you right now, this contract that they're offering is total crap. They are trying to pull the wool over our eyes, and we deserve way more money, and there is no way we should sign a 15-year contract with them, maximum 5 years. Maximum 5 years.
Yes, right.
What is our contract with them right now?
$9,000 a year.
For how many years? Is that
It goes in
annually?
5-year blocks.
And what's this?
That's kinda
is
cheap,
this
ain't
for a
it?
cell phone tower?
It was
A new
done
one?
in 2014.
It's one that's-
2014.
Probably you were on council.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right, and
What now is, there's a new number that's being thrown at the city.
well, at one time, they tried to buy that out and give us a lump sum, which was
That's on the table right now.
They're trying to.
that's,
You can take it over time, or you can
Yeah.
take a lump.
that's a bad idea.
The lump sum's
Lump sum is a bad
a
idea.
year and a half less in overall payments, but we don't have a contract in front of us right now. They just
just said a proposal. If we ask them to go forward, they will produce a contract for us to go through. I don't know about the numbers, yeah.
Everything goes up, including our phone bill, so should our lease, the leases to them.
So this is what they're proposing, a one-time payment of $215,000. And then they don't pay any more to the end of the contractor until they decide to tear the tower down. And the tower will be torn down if they decide they don't use it, and everything restored to the condition it was when they got it. For over 10 years, $258,000 payment. And that's
A lump sum?
The 258's over 50.
That's over 10 years.
Or over 10.
Back
Over
of
10, and then at the end of 10 years, then there's a new contract?
I can pull it up on the screen.
It's right here in our package, it's 10 years, not 15
Because
years.
they have it where they're also, you know, they have it written in there that they can choose to take it down too, so, I mean, if they decide to take it down in that time, then it's done.
But at any point, they take that tower down. The property resorts to us, and
Quite honestly, these are issues that wouldn't be negotiated in a contract. All we have right now are the numbers that say, here's what we will pay you lump sum or over 10 years.
So is that lump sum divided out in 10 years for an X amount? What's that figure?
It comes out to $2,100.
So basically, they take the base amount for
$2,150 a month.
And you're getting what now?
9,000 a year.
750, so you're on a 10,400.
It's gonna be 12,000 for the year, so roughly 1,000 a month for this year.
and that includes the interest on.
So the way they figure out the long term, the 10-year plan, is they basically take the base rate. You can do this by the math all the way out right now, is they take the base rate and they add 3% on each year. So every year it increases by 3%. That's how you get your final payout amount.
It's a cash buy. It's a cash buy. I mean, the
For the
upfront
10-year, how they get that number?
Yeah,
Is every year they increase by 3%.
Right. That's what they've done since 2014.
Okay, I guess I don't know, I just got cut off.
But they're saying it's the upfront money would be a cash buy. basically.
Correct, yep. I was talking about the 10 years, how they got to that number. So they would increase every year 3% on the monthly, basically, or the annual. They paid out in monthly increments, but every single year, that rate would go up 3%. So that's the difference of the one-time lump payment. They're not giving those interest increases like they would, or they're paying you slowly over 10 years. Now, if you do the math or look at basic business right now, 7-month CDs at 4.45, I believe, for a 7-month CD, we could make 4%, or we could invest the money on something that's gonna cost twice as much or 10 times as much, or possibly in something that might make us money. I don't know.
Or you can
but
take a sure
we're not
thing
there
with
yet.
their monthly payment.
We're not there yet, but that's when we finish negotiating as far as money-wise. That's why I'm looking at a one-time payment is because
It's just my vision that this money that you get every year is in our budget. It's already pretty much basically spoken for. You take a lump sum payment, you're gonna throw it on something. And then you're gonna be a shortfall on your budget every year.
It's just
Yeah, that's a silly idea, taking a lump sum payment, cause it's just like a little kid at Christmas, he's gonna blow it all.
The only upside about a lump sum payment would be right now we have lots of infrastructure issues where we're gonna need money, capital
Well,
to.
you're gonna need that money down the road too.
grant matches.
I'm
just saying, that's
yeah, I'm
not a good idea in my eyes.
Right, I'm not arguing that,
Yeah,
I was
alright.
just stating, I mean, 258,000 on.
Yeah, but if you want a lump sum, you don't get the
Sounds
250,
good
you're
and
only down to
sounds
214,
great, but-
So they take a big chunk for making it up front.
Okay, if we took the 215 right now, everybody agreed that all you're trying to do is get the most amount of money that you can. You put $215,000 in a 7-month revolving interest rate of 4.45, and it's compounding every 7 months an additional 4.45. I'm not, we're talking $8,400 roughly a year just in interest. By the time you get through the 10 years, you're making well over that. So not taking the lump sum just to get that kind of money, you're gonna make $8,000 a year plus just in interest. So take a little $2,000 cut, and over the course of time, you're gonna make yourself $40, $50, $60, $70,000 more. I mean, this is just basic math. We haven't even started discussing the numbers, but to kill a one-time payment before we actually talk the numbers is ridiculous. I mean, this is just ridiculous. The amount of money you make in interest over the course of those 10 years is
There won't be any interest
$80,000.
made because he just said we've got a bunch of infrastructure that we need to spend that money on.
So if you take the one-time payment and don't wanna spend, I'm trying to, like,
I know what you're doing,
discuss
you're
the math.
justifying, but I'm just saying, that's my opinion only, and I don't, it's my opinion, it's a bad idea. So,
I think it's a really, really low number.
And we can, look into it further.
I think 214 over 5 years, you might think about it, but not over 10.
Yeah, I would say, from what I've researched and what other towers are being paid,
It also depends for them on how many services run off an individual tower. So we have one service running off the tower. They can give more money when they have more services running off the tower. At some point, it's not cost beneficial to them to give you a ton of money if they're not making any money on the tower. They have room to add a lot of different services, but nobody's coming up and wanting to use the tower. So they have one service offered right now for that tower.
I can talk personally for being in the business before, they're making a lot off their roaming.
Yeah.
So they only have one provider, but they're making a ton off their roaming, so
Yep.
don't let them fool you.
So who's the expert that we reach out to negotiate this? Who do we reach out to? Do we hire a company that deals in this? Because there are companies that negotiate these types of things. Is there somebody that, because we put this on the back burner too, and I mean, it's money out there that we need to, one way or another, reel it in.
Well, if we do nothing, the contract just continues for another 5 years at $9,000 a month per
That'd be
year.
foolish.
right,
Historically speaking, it's gone up 3% since 2014.
right, so it's gone up.
And also, I will tell you that this has been proposed, or
Okay, can we stop just real fast on that fact again? So it goes up 3% per year on our annual. Right now, we're at 9,000, whatever. Do the math, 9,000 plus 3% over the course of 15 years when that contract expires in 2039, and you don't even come close to the 10-year amount. So one way or another, like, it's something that we have to start weeding through. There's money sitting out here one way or another. So who's gonna be the negotiator?
It's not worth jumping on it if it's not enough, because this is still not big enough.
I'm not saying
It needs to be more.
Who's gonna be the
It's not
negotiator
fair
out
for
of
it not
us?
to be more.
like, Brad, do you think the number's high enough for the value? I don't know. I mean, I'm asking. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
We've done some research and it says if you're getting $1,500 a month average, that's a pretty good fair amount for this type of market. But if somebody else found other information, I'm more than willing to listen. I wanna know who's gonna head it, because we have 4 heads in this thing and everybody's going different directions, and this is where we lose traction and nothing gets done. 6 months from now, we'll be talking about this again.
be just like storm drains.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so who wants it? If Chris, you feel that we're short, then do you wanna talk?
All I said was I wanna wait until the 19th, so I have a chance to do some more research, cause I found out some stuff recently that I haven't had time to look into more.
Okay, so we'll find out on the 19th what that information is, and we're supposed to make the decision that day?
Mm-hmm.
We have till the 14th of January to make a decision.
I think initially we just gotta make a count, we just gotta let them know if we got a counter number, let them know too. Cause they're gonna have to prepare a contract,
Right.
depending on the number.
It'll take approximately 90 days, they'll send a preliminary for us to re-review again. We're not signing anything as soon as we decide, so.
Well, yeah,
We have more room to negotiate after preliminary. I guess we talk about it again next week.
I mean, if you got more information that'd be good for this, we can move it. So instead of taking no action, we'll table it, because then that brings it back next week. Or not, on the 19th. Alright, 17, discuss, approve, disapprove utility deposit refund for the following: Trevor Moreno, $250.
make a motion to approve. Can we do both of them?
Yep.
Alright, I'll make a motion to approve both Trevor Motiva for $250 and Abby Dyer for $69.66.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Libby,
Yes.
Trevor.
Yes.
Alright, number 18, public comment. So, if anybody has anything they wanna state, they get a 2-minute time period, must stand, and come forward. Alright.
There for a second. Alright, as everybody knows, I've come to almost every council meeting for the last year and a half, okay? And I see a lot of areas where the city is wasting money and not using money responsibly. Same departments are constantly in the negative every year, and I see nothing being done to change that. Okay, and it's not a knock on any one department, okay? And it's not gonna be a knock on you, Amanda, I'm just gonna use you as an
Oh,
example.
so bring up my name.
Okay.
At least I came, so you're
Hold
not
on,
talking about me behind my back.
I wouldn't,
Perfect.
I wouldn't. Okay, last meeting we brought up the fact, you know, we have a golf course superintendent, okay? And it was brought to my knowledge and attention that she's not really in charge of what goes on at the golf course.
If
Okay.
you look up what the definition of a golf course superintendent is, it is taking care of the grounds of the course,
And I understand.
not the building.
And I understand, and I think that's something that needs to change. I think your job, position, and title as superintendent, you should be in charge of everything.
With that pass, that you directly comes towards us, that we're not getting in these personal debates on this.
And my whole thing is as a superintendent of the golf course, and this is not a knock on Amanda, okay? This is because she's not in a position where she has that ability. She should know where all the keys are. She should know where all the tablets are. And she should be directly in charge of the budget and knowing exactly where she is month to month on the budget, so it's not getting overspent 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, whatever it is. I think we are not giving her the ability to handle the golf course. But in the end, it's gonna come back and it's gonna look like Amanda's not doing her job, and that may not be the case.
1 minute left.
Okay, I think we need to relook at positions and job titles, and if we're gonna give her a title as superintendent, let's let her be the superintendent in charge of the entire facility and everything. That way, she can look at where we are losing money, and she can correct that. That's all I got.
Alright.
Thank you.
It wasn't a knock.
Roy?
Do I have to go up there?
Yep.
They make the decisions. That was brought to my attention.
I'm gonna respond a little bit to that comment. I don't think at any one time, one person should be in charge of anything. There's a system of checks and balances, and you guys have a golf board that has kind of pretty much been eliminated through our last mayor. Pretty much eliminated. That golf board is very competent. If you give them the leeway to do their job, they will give you the financial stuff. But they've been leashed down to where the golf board can't even do their own dang job. So you guys, I think, need to give, not one person, the whole golf board. They've always done a decent job. Yeah, it's always been a lack of funds. Well, it's gonna be a lack of funds no matter what, until things are paid for. You guys need to give the golf board the power to run a golf course, not one individual. And nothing against you. That's it.
I do have to say, I think with this council and the board, we are starting to work back towards, at least on the golf course end, of working together and not working apart. People are talking to each other, they're not getting mad and going to pout in the corner because one person didn't listen to the other. But it's just gonna take a little bit for everybody to trust everybody again. So it's not gonna happen overnight. So I think seeing what I've seen in the last year, that everybody's trying to start trusting each other again instead of the council against the board constantly for that department. They're looking at the council as trying to help the board. And then both sides need to actually talk to each other instead of expect other sides to know what they're talking about. And I think they're starting to get to that point as well. So, again, it'll smooth itself out, it's just not gonna happen tomorrow. So.
Anyone else?
I really want to thank you for this opportunity to talk, though. I really appreciate that 3-minute limit.
Anyone else? Lola, you got a chance.
Is this a one-time opportunity or is this
No.
okay.
Are you gonna have this every time?
This is state statute. This will be every.
That's a good idea.
No?
This is all in. Any questions or?
What's that?
You're allowed to ask any questions?
You're allowed to.
It's public comment, it's not
comment.
question and answer.
Okay.
It's just, the statute set up, you comment.
Alright.
I welcome it. I think it's needed. I think we need to hear more from townspeople instead of just the hearsay or online on social media or these types of places that they bring in the problems directly to us and helping us set the list of top priorities. That's probably the most important thing for us. Help us all get on the same page.
Alright. No one else? Moving on to 19, approved bills, claims, requisitions, orders, and transfers.
So moved.
I'll second.
Dean,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Davey.
Yes.
And I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second, please?
Second.
Davey,
Yes.
Crawford, Grant,
Yes.
Dean.
As much as I can get signed in over 50 minutes, I can't stay, I can only take Yep, thank you.